Last week in Atlanta, we saw Kieran Liflander return and decimate the competition while Evan MacFarlane faltered. The points gap was cut in half as we take cross flags in the season. The gap is 5 points with 5 weeks left. Will we continue to see fireworks between the two phenoms? We will find out together over the next hour as the World Center of Racing is the stage and the Daytona Grand Prix is next. Our venue for today is the virtual Daytona International Speedway. Opened in 1959, North American Simulated Auto Racing first started visiting the World Center of Racing in 2018B. At 0.86 miles in length, this circuit is so unforgiving when it comes to the first chicane and the jump. We have seen so much action here, especially because this venue is one of the original layouts when iRacing released Rallycross. Who can forget Marwan Moftah winning on debut in 2018B, which was the same race that some guy named Josh Mertz took out Connor Parisi in Turn 1 on the start of the feature. In NASA Rallycross, our format is as follows. We are finishing open practice now, which leads us into a 3-lap single-car qualifying session that splits the field equally into 5-lap heat races with the Joker lap taken once. The top 2 transfer to the feature race automatically. The winner will get 3 bonus points, and the runner-up gets 2. The rest of our drivers are sent to the semifinals, also 5 laps with 1 Joker. The top 2 will transfer to the feature, and the winner receives a bonus point. This sets the grid for our 10-lap feature race where the points are awarded and trophies are handed out. And unique to NASA Rallycross, 2 Jokers are taken during the feature. The 31st season of the NASA Rallycross Challenge continues today live on the Automotive Sports Network. With Bryan Sawyer in the production truck and also next to me in the commentary box, my name is Josh Mertz as we welcome you to the 11th running of the Daytona Grand Prix. The NASA Rallycross Challenge is brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problems, our solution. For more information, visit osscenter.com. Thank you, Rob Hartland, for your continued support of NASA Sim Racing. Cameras all season on ASN brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support. And finally, the intro music for the NASA World feed produced by our very own Alex Zabetti. Bryan, it was Kieran who stamped his authority on his return. Evan got rattled by a slower car. Crossing halfway this season, today, we're going to have a 10-car feature race in a supercar class race for the first time in probably like 4 seasons. How are you, and what are your thoughts coming into Daytona?
Hi, Josh. There we go.
Oh, they can hear you now.
Yeah, they can hear me now. I was gonna say, Evan was gonna walk away with it, but Kieran has decided to show up and just set the fastest lap. Before that, Evan was kind of just walking away with it, but we got Jugo with some pace and Robbie also, so there might be a little bit of an upset. So looking forward to see what happens.
So let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship coming into round number 6. In Daytona Beach. On top, with the red number plate, Evan MacFarlane, 103, ahead of Kieran Liflander with 98. Yuko Pakala with 69, Marcos Palacios, 66, Josh Darnell, 55, Zach Blanche, Santeri Heiskanen, Jess Rakowski, Renee Sotens, Robbie Kirtley, rounding out the top 10. Great mix of nationalities as well in the top 10. The Constructors' Championship, TWR Subi squad healthily in front, ahead of No Control Esports Finland. Kieran Liflander racing, despite Kieran being second in points. That second and third seat on that team, it has been fluctuating, so the squad from South Carolina not having the greatest of championship runs. No Control USA, Slapex 4, JC Simsport, TWR Fiesta Siesta, underfunded, Kachow, and KES rounding out the top 10. Manufacturers' Championship has been pretty obvious from the start of the season. It is Subaru ahead of Ford and Volkswagen, yet to make an appearance in this season. Some programming notes before we head to qualifying here on the Automotive Sports Network. Tomorrow, NASA Rallycross Futures and Lights will begin the Velocity Pixels Endurance Cup. That's going to be at Crandon in Wisconsin. The full layout, no, we're not running the land rush. It's going to be a rolling start to prevent too much chaos. That's going to be a great race. I have 0 laps of practice, so we're looking forward to that. 8 p.m. Eastern for Futures, 9 p.m. for Lights. Victor Valley, Ethan Halsey for those 2 shows. Monday, NASA Rallycross Contenders, also in Crandon, 9 p.m. Eastern. Justin Robichaux and Bryan Sawyer. And the Torque Sports Car Series next Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern from Road Atlanta. You'll have myself and Victor Valley for that. And our next round for the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge, concluding the Crandon week. That'll be next Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, with Bryan Sawyer and myself, Josh Mertz. As we get set for qualifying in practice, Kieran, 38.608. MacFarlane, 38.768. And then it was a further 4.5 tenths, back to Marcus Indrek Simmer, the Estonian, in third, sneaking into the picture. And let's see who's going to be first on track here, Bryan, in this qualifying session. Beautiful overhead shot of the Daytona International Speedway. The first chicane, the jump, very tricky. You bounce wrong, that first sector is going to be a mess. And we saw some chaos between you and I through the oval portion there on Sunday. William Findling, the first car on track, followed by Josh Darnell, the Contenders points leader. Clean sweep of that championship so far. And the 310 will be the first car to set a lap. Matthew Lindy making his return in car number 3. Joni Poloneva making his debut. Another no-control car. I think that's 5 or 6 cars that they've entered this season. Incredible numbers from the European squad.
A lot of cars.
Zach Blanche, Yuko Pakala. As we're just waiting for that other super team to develop with no control, like Saints and Sinners, like Slapex. As still looking at Findling in the 310 in the Subaru, down to the final corner, very loose, hit the curb there, down the back straightaway into the final corner. And the 310 will come off of the final corner, crossing the line, 40.8. Josh Darnell crosses the line, 40.1. Joni Poloneva in the 31 crosses the line, 39.4. Blanche, 40.0. Pakala, 39.9. Palacio, 39.6. Moncana, 39.7. Rakowski, 40.6. Derbyshire, the times begin to roll in. Derbyshire crosses the line, 41.1. Lindy has not set a lap. Brandon Slow, the next car, in the 02 to set a lap time. Crossing the line, 40.9. He's 9th quickest. Sotens begins his run. Palacio, Lindy yet to start a lap. Where is... They're both not on track, MacFarlane and Kieran here. So we'll just have to wait and see, Bryan.
We're going to have a little stalemate, I think. I think both of them have started to like waiting to see what the other one does. And waiting for to see what lap time they have to beat. And I think we're going to get to the point where they're not going to complete all their laps because they're just sitting waiting for each other to start going.
As 8 minutes in this qualifying session, we have 5 minutes left. MacFarlane on track. He has yet to move. Marcus Indrek Simmer in the 4 will begin his qualifying run. I took a look at Matthew Lindy pointing towards driver's left to the final corner. He crosses the line, 40.241. Palacio has made a mistake, ending his qualifying run. And where is...
Coming through the hairpin. Evan still hasn't started moving.
Through the hairpin for Kieran Liflander. The man that has either not raced or won in NASA Rallycross Lights, as he won here on Sunday into the final corner in the 20. Yet to set a lap. What will he run for the benchmark in qualifying? 39.4. 3.4 only by half a tenth over Joni Poloneva. Where's Evan MacFarlane? Halfway through his first lap. Let's pick up the double defending champion. Car number 1 with the red plate. Into the hairpin, onto the oval. Tricky to get it right. Through the dirt. Path of least resistance. Back out into the infield. Through the left, the right, the left of the infield road course at the Daytona International Speedway past the Joker. Remember, respect those lines through the race today. And the final corner for the Californian. Off of that final corner, across the line. Did he hit the wall? I don't think he did. 38.984. Fastest of all so far by 4.5 tenths over Kieran Liflander. Wow.
Yeah,
Robbie currently pips Liflander.
That's more what we saw in practice. We saw Evan just walking away from the rest of the field. So Maybe Kieran's one lap in practice was a little luck, but this seems to be where Evan's very comfortable.
He resets. Kieran takes the green flag to begin his third lap over the curve, over the jump. And I've said it so many times before, thousands of laps required for these guys to be this good, to be this perfect. Did he touch the tires? He did. Did that count as a 1X? He's still rolling, so it probably didn't count at all.
I don't see anything there. And iRacing has been a little more lenient with their X's. For example, on Charlotte, Houston, as soon as you touched the wall on those 2 turns, it was over. Now you can get away with a little touch, and it says, "Nah, you're fine."
Final corner across the line in the final qualifying lap. Kieran Liflander, 39-2, nowhere close to Evan MacFarlane. He pips Kirtley though, and we pick up MacFarlane in car number 1. Now, would you even run this lap if you're Evan? Do you know that Kieran improved? Do you know that he's done with his run? I would say just run it out.
No reason not to.
Stamp the authority on the qualifying session after the race that he had last week. I would say mistimed a Joker, got stuck behind Renee Sotens, and we heard in his interview it rattled him for the rest of that feature. Off the final corner is the kid from California crossing the line, 39-0. He does not improve, but it doesn't matter because that is pole position for Heat 1 for the Daytona Grand Prix for Evan MacFarlane.
I think that's it for everyone. Kirtley might be on his last lap. No, Kirtley's sitting in pits.
Pick up Kirtley. He is all done, so we can go ahead and roll it forward to heat number 1 here in Daytona. Awesome to see. 16 cars. And this is going to be a good one. Our grid for heat number 1 in Daytona. Evan MacFarlane, Joni Polaneva, Lars Monkanet, Brandon Slow, Jess Rakowski, William Findling. 6 cars, 5 laps, 1 Joker, top 2 transfer. And it's awesome, like I say every week, the continued growth that we are seeing with NASA Sim Racing in 2024. 16 cars on a Saturday compared to we used to only have probably 6 for this supercar class a couple seasons ago after the split. Nowhere to go but up. And we've still got half a season left across all the divisions. As we just wait for William Findling to grid in the 310. And we'll get rolling for our first heat of the afternoon. As we wait, the time is going to hit 1 minute. Do you get 2 minutes to grid in a heat race, though, Brian? Because
I don't know.
Findling not on track.
I'm just here for the ride, Josh.
We're just hanging out. We're enjoying it. A shout out to Matt Hartley in our chat, former race winner in 2021C and former champion in 2020A. Findling on track, 6 cars, 5 laps, 1 Joker, heat 1 in Daytona Beach. Green flag off the line. Wheel spin from MacFarlane in the first phase. It's going to have Polaneva beat him down to turn 1. The Finn on the outside, half a car length, pulling equal through the corner. Slow. Monkanet, Rakowski, Findling as MacFarlane takes the lead into the first corner. Through the chicane, over the jump, single file. Such a tricky jump to get right. Rakowski slides. Findling almost into the 999 to the inside. And we exit the first sector. Nasty bump when we transition from dirt to concrete to asphalt and onto the oval for this short blast. Rakowski looks to the inside into the tires, trying to peek to the inside of Monkanet, and Findling made contact with her. Now we can take the Joker, who will take the opportunity on the first lap of the race. We've got no takers from the top 4, Bryan, and Evan leading ahead of Polaneva, Slow, and Monkanet.
But Josh, we might take a look back and see what happened with Findling and Rakowski there.
Let's roll it back and take a look. Rakowski, I think, just tried to go for a spot that was closing, clipped the tires, and poor Findling in the 310 caught up in something that was not of his doing. As, of course, we'll see lap time-wise. It's going to be interesting to see lap times through the event to see if anyone has anything for Evan. Does Kieran have anything to respond?
You know what I'm actually very surprised about, Josh? Rakowski get rear-ended like that. She's still got all the tires on her car. Last week, she got rear-ended Barely touched. Lost the tire. Got better lug nuts this week.
As the team was able to afford better parts now that Crown Creamery is sponsoring us. I'll just put it that way. Last lap around, Evan MacFarlane, 39.0. Polaneva, 39.9. Slow, 40.3. Moncanet, 40.6. 40.0 Rakowski. It was a Joker lap. MacFarlane goes to the Joker in car number 1. It has been a duel all season long. Like we've said, we take 2 to go for MacFarlane against Kieran Liflander. And I would say next week, of course, we haven't even gotten through this week. Crazy things have happened, but we saw last season in Crandon, the 2 kids came together, Robbie Kirtley won. So this entire week for NASA Rallycross, whether it's Sunday, Monday, Saturday, must-watch racing action on the Automotive Sports Network. It's going to be super fun to drive, super fun to watch on Monday, super fun to call on Saturday. MacFarlane's Joker lap was a 38.1, so I would say it's about, what, a second delta in the Supercars?
It's about 1.5, but he's just gone in a way. He's got a 4-second before the Joker. Evan's on a different planet right now.
Slow Jokers in the 0-2 puts him in front of Palanova, but Yoni has not jokered yet in the 31. Gives the 0-2 a little bit of a nudge. No control versus Slapex. And Yoni yet to joker. MacFarlane took that joker on lap number 3. So there's really not going to be a transfer battle as Yoni's going to have to joker. And we have lost Lars. Massive damage on the 11. I'll try and roll it back and see. Evan MacFarlane will win heat number 1. Yoni Palaneva, in his first start in NASA, will transfer to a feature race, and it's going to be Brandon Slow, Jess Rakowski in 4th. And what happened to Lars Moncanet in the 11? I'm taking a look off monitor.
I think we can take a look real quick before
he crashed into the gantry. Huge hit.
Oh.
For the 11. Easy to do with the all-wheel drive cars. As you get too easy on the accelerator in these cars especially, and it pushes you wide, and off we go. So, heat number 2. Kieran Liflander, Marcos Palacio, Zach Blanche, Josh Darnell, and Renee Sotens for this second heat race of the afternoon. All cars on track as we get ready to take the green flag. Kieran Liflander Racing and TWR on the outside. Green flag. Equal starts between Palacio and MacFarlane. Liflander into the first corner. Liflander deep. Little bit of netcode on Palacio. Remember South Carolina versus Argentina. It puts Palacio battling with Sotens. Sotens backs up the corner into Blanche. A lot of different countries represented in this heat race. Seeing some netcode influence here. Liflander, South Carolina. Palacio, Argentina. Sotens from the Netherlands. Contact with Blanche, the Australian, coming across into Darnell. Darnell doesn't make contact. The driver from Maryland rips the handbrake, goes to the inside of Blanche. Do they touch? Doesn't look like they do. So, now can Kieran Liflander make an uncontested run to heat number 2, Bryan, as he leads at the end of the first lap?
I'm going to think so. Palacio and Sotens getting into it. It's just only going to slow him up. That little bit of argy-barginess, that's enough to let Kieran get the gap he needs. He only needs about a 1.5 seconds to avoid any pips on the Joker rotation. Darnell getting real wide there. Almost
Darnell.
lost the Fiesta.
I think Darnell's a little frustrated in the 029. He was looking for a way around Blanche and Sotens in the 157 and the 222. And the man from Maryland, like I said, has won every single contenders split race this season. Very good record on Monday nights. Gives him the opportunity to transfer to the Saturday afternoon event. And Liflander still leads. Lap time 39.3. 40.0 for Palacio. 39.2 for Darnell. He jokers to get in front of Sotens and Blanche. And Blanche is stuck behind. Sotens ran a 40.9. Blanche a 40.5. Despite being stuck behind him. Now, if you're Blanche, why don't you joker now? Why wouldn't you joker last time around?
Yeah, he's right. He's right on Sotens' rear end right now, so it only makes sense to go at this point. If he doesn't go this lap, I don't know what he's doing. Poor strategy choice. But,
as Liflander,
he doesn't.
Palacio,
Sotens takes it.
Sotens jokers. Sotens comes out still behind Darnell in the
Darnell,
029. Let's run on board Kieran Liflander for about a half a lap. We're coming to the white flag, so I don't want to say a full lap. Run on board and just enjoy here in Daytona.
That's how you do it, Josh. Hit all 5 curves for the best lap time.
Has looped it in the 029. He's trying to stay as best of the rest right now. We watched Liflander set his fastest lap while we were on board. And Darnell very crossed up. Blanche yet to joker, so he might get both of these guys, as Liflander and Palacio will have to joker on the final lap. There's not going to be an issue with who will win heat number 2.
It's only about a 1 second gap here.
Palacio will transfer. Let's focus on Blanche. Blanche in the 222, the Australian. Darnell and Sotens have to stay out, and Zach Blanche will get the best of the rest. Pole position for the semifinal for the 222.
A great finish.
Heat number 3. Getting ready to go. Robbie Kirtley in the 024. Yuko Pakala, Matthew Lindy, Marcus Indrek Simmer, and Austin Derbyshire for our third and final heat race of the afternoon. Green flag, no control teammates on the front row. Kirtley gets a good jump compared to Pakala down to the first corner. I don't suspect any issues between them. Derbyshire spins in the 64. He clipped the dirt, and around he went. Side by side, Simmer and Pakala in the first chicane. And Pakala will be sent to the semifinal unless something catastrophic happens. And that's an easy thing to do. It happened between you and I in a lights race a couple of seasons ago, Bryan.
Yeah, you just get a little caught up, and neither person wants to let go of the position, and not going to be a good time. There is not enough room to go through turn 1 too wide, generally. Just, you're both pushing. It's never going to happen.
So,
looks like Lindy's got some car damage. She is wiggling that thing down the backstretch, trying to figure out which way straight on the steering wheel.
At the end of the first lap, Kirtley leads. Just got a little bit of inside information from the Kieran Liflander Racing camp. Austin Derbyshire's cap might have interfered with that incident in turn number 1. And into the fence goes Matthew Lindy, the defending Contender Series champion. Gnarly jump, bounced wrong.
Into the wall again.
And his cat causing mayhem.
I'm going to go back and look at the Yuko Pakala incident. See what happened there.
Let's take a second look while we roll that back. Haven't missed anything. Kirtley to the inside. Let's try and actually super professional roll that back from the blimp cam, and we can take a second look. Maybe give us half speed if we can. We see Derbyshire. I don't want to say the cat's fault. You had a left rear tire on the dirt, my friend, but that's happened to me once or twice. And as we take a look from half speed, just to update us, we're not missing anything in real time. We've got Simmer on the inside in the yellow and black car. Outside is Pakala, orange and white, and they just come together. Pakala comes across, but yeah, it's tricky. I would make the same move knowing that would happen. That's just, I mean, like I said, it's happened to us. It's just a thing that happens here. Your first turn, first lap.
First lap, being that safe and coming out of the joker. Timing it so you're not coming out like that next to somebody.
So, just to update us with 2 laps to go, Robbie Kirtley leads. He jokered on the first lap. Marcus Indrek Simmer sits in second. Lindy and Pakala yet to joker, but this is for the transfer spot, or the best of the rest spot. And the reigning Contender Series champion, this is his first race back in a couple weeks. The kid from California, I think he had some sim rig issues with his steering wheel, with his equipment, so he was unable to make any races recently.
See, I thought his wheel broke and he bought a real micro sprint. I thought that's what
happened. I saw those
I didn't
too.
think he was coming back.
I saw that the wheel broke. I didn't see the micro sprint part.
Oh, I saw him ripping around a dirt track in California in a micro sprint. I didn't think he was coming back, Josh.
Jokering is Pakala. Pakala will come out in front of Lindy. But I think Pakala's got damage because Lindy side by side with him over the jump. This is for the best of the rest spot. This will be, I think, for pole position in the second semi-final. It just depends on what the sim does. Lindy ripped the yellow curb, got a great run off the corner, but had nowhere to go with it. Back up front.
Oh.
As Lindy into the fence and over is car number 3. Robbie Kirtley will win the third heat race, and Marcus Indrek Simmer will come home in second, transferring, as it'll be Pakala, Lindy, and Derbyshire to the semifinal.
I don't know what Lindy was trying there. If I was Lindy, I would have gone out a little wider, got a better straight run there. It looked like he tried to stick his nose in a hole, and it was not there.
So, let's take a look at our grid. We will have 2 semifinals today. Brandon Slow, Yuko Pakala, Josh Darnell, Lars Moncanet, and Austin Derbyshire. 5 cars, 5 laps, 1 joker. Top 2 will transfer through to the feature race. Getting ready for semifinal A in Daytona. Green flag off the line. What a start from Pakala. That is not a jump start from the sim. He blitzed Slow and Darnell to the first corner. Here comes Lars, nudging the 0-2 of Slow. Slow was wiggling under braking with brake bias issues potentially in the 0-2. Pakala, Slow, Moncanet, Darnell, Derbyshire over the jump. The 11 of Lars, huge run compared to Slow. Over the curve goes Pakala. That might be, it is a slowdown for the Finn in the 92. This brings Slow and Moncanet into the picture. You have to serve the slowdown, and you can't use the glitch of running it wide in this corner here, Brian. To the inside goes Slow. They touch into the fence, and everybody wads it up.
That's excellent news for Darnell. Darnell, yeah, he got front end damage during that, but he got through it. Which I'm sure he doesn't want to see an accident like that, but he wanted. That turned out exactly what he needed.
And Pakala clears his slowdown. Derbyshire comes out battling, lets him through.
I was going to say, before that happened, Josh, the way slowdowns work here now, they've made adjustments to the system. They're basically non-existent now. I got a couple during the lights race. They were nothing. I just drove as normal. I was still dropping close to my fastest laps, and nothing was happening.
They must have quietly changed that, or I missed it, because the last time that I had a slowdown, it multiplied. I think it was at Sonoma.
Oh, they fixed that at the beginning of this season.
I missed that entirely. So, let's take a look at the transfer battle with Derbyshire and Darnell. Derbyshire runs it wide in the final corner. Darnell to the inside, doesn't clear him. Derbyshire's familiar with that. We came together back in 2020 in that corner with that kind of pass. As Pakala leads still.
Going for the pass on the inside here.
Darnell, they nearly touch. Exiting the corner. Derbyshire is racing a car that has yet to joker. Derbyshire thought he could catch it, and he couldn't. The Canadian spins in the 64. Slow from North Carolina in the 0-2. Sitting now in the 4th position. As Lars in the 11 having a good little race. So, 2 laps to go for Pakala. All 3 of these guys yet to joker. Lars has huge damage on the front of the 11, Brian. And he's running faster than Darnell. He's up by half a second.
Yeah, it's called weight reduction. Who needs the front of a car?
So Pakala into the hairpin. Darnell, Moncanet, Slow, and we've lost Derbyshire in the 64. He's parked it and off the track. Not a good day for Kieran Liflander Racing in the Constructors' Championship. He will finish last in this race. Darnell jokers, does not come out in front of Pakala. Pakala takes the white flag.
Yeah, this is going to be the lap that Lars needs to push the hardest on. He might be able to close this gap compared to Darnell, and if he does, that would be an on-debut feature for him.
Defeating the, let's basically call him the Contenders champion this season, the man who has won every single Contenders race, including Phoenix last season. So Josh Darnell, no slouch. in the 029. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Down the backstretch for Yuko Pakala, trying to take the semi-final victory and take a bonus point here in Daytona. Lars will have to joker deep on the brakes, locks up the right front, goes wide. Not going to happen. Darnell will be our 9th seed today. Still a great run for Lars, 11th on debut. And it's going to be Brandon Slow and Austin Derbyshire. As we get ready for our second and final semifinal, Zach Blanche, Jess Rakowski, Matthew Lindy, Renee Sotens, and William Findling. 5 cars, 5 laps, 1 joker here in Daytona. Will we see chaos in the hairpin, in the dirt? Almost happened to us in the lights race. We've seen it so many times in officials, in NASA races. It doesn't matter the car, doesn't matter the split. The way that wall juts out, very tricky. Semifinal B in Daytona. Green flag. Was that a jump start for Renee? I'll have to look. Rakowski comes across into Blanche. Half clear for Rakowski. Clears him deep on the brakes. Running it wide. Blanche to the lead. Side by side, Rakowski and Sotens comes across. Takes Rakowski out of it. Then it's Lindy and Findling. And what could have been for both the 999 and the 157. And the 999 has not had good luck at all. So Blanche leads, Lindy and Findling in the top 3. And
Did
Rakowski
Findling end up getting a black flag for jump start?
No black flag for anybody, it says. And Rakowski has parked it in the 999. So
We're going to see if we can go back and look at that. Potentially.
See if we can take that second look. Here we go. Might be... This is Sotens. Sotens just throttled up, it looked like, into Rakowski off the corner. And around goes the 999. Let's take a look up front, because the TWR satellite teammates are battling for this win. We've got Zach Blanche and Matthew Lindy.
How much do you want to fight for it? I mean, you're both satellite teammates. Both just go through.
But if you guys come together, you're giving William Findling a free ticket to the feature race. Certainly agree on that. Lindy wide in the joker. Haven't seen any commitment line violations so far today. Not that I'm trying to put them into the existence here over the jump. Blanche fastest, 40.773.
I don't know
and
if
it's
they're
a car
in the
length
same
between
Boy
them
Scout or not tonight, but if I'm what Tom and I have done when we're racing hard is just, hey, I'm gonna take this lap and this lap. If you want to take some other laps, and we just alternate and see who can run the fastest laps. Really try and don't pass on track. You don't want to make the mistake and take you and your teammate out. Not a good look.
I'm going to 2 laps to go. Lindy wide in car number 3. Let's see what lap times say. 41.3, 41.2, kind of equal. It looks like that's what Blanche is doing, just not stressing, but he also has his joker. So why would you?
Yeah, Blanche has
aside
his
from
joker. He's within
aside from being satellite teammates. So Lindy, Blanche, Findling.
Findling is 2.8 away from the leader, so he doesn't have it. Unless he drops a significant lap. Last lap, I guess.
As this is for the 8th and 10th seeds for the Daytona Grand Prix. Lindy defends into the final corner as we take the white flag. Some chaos so far today in Daytona. Lindy with a slowdown. He cut the curve very close. And he's going to have to serve that. Findling got one as well. And did Blanche get one as well? No, he didn't. He just had a pretty bad run. So Findling trying to take advantage of that. Got his own slowdown in the process. And now Lindy's going to have to serve this. When will he serve it is the question. He's cleared it.
Yeah,
as you were saying, they're pretty much non-existent now.
You can drive full
Blanche
speed,
has to
that
joker.
thing doesn't do anything. That's going to be it.
Into the joker. Out of the joker, the Australian Zach Blanche wins semifinal B, transferring as Matthew Lindy. It'll be 12th place. Did William Findling retire? He did. He gave up the 12th spot to Renee Sotens So he will be classified in 14th. That is if Sotens crosses the line, as Sotens is busy doing some gymkhana off monitor. So Sotens 14th, or sorry, 12th. 14th Findling, 16th Rakowski. So, the grid is set. We're going to give our drivers a chance to warm up. And on the other side of the break, the Daytona Grand Prix.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to nordvpn.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Absolutely be doing what he has to do. He has to go for the championship. He has to recover the points that he lost. He's down the race, takes the lead in the 12. What a move. And he takes the lead and holds
by
it.
side between these two in the turn one. This is going to get spicy.
Exiting turn one, over the jump to begin the first lap, clogging the inside line. MacFarlane contact between them. They are still side by side. This opens the door for Wetz. He can't make anything happen. Over in the 26, he has not won in quite some time. Dragster acing the entry to turn one, up heading to the inside of Magnus, gives him a nudge. whip strip on the inside. Phil, Wetz had a little bit better run, but looks like Mertz will hold his spot. We welcome you back to round number 272 of the championship overall and round 6 of the 31st season of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge here in Daytona. With Bryan Sawyer in the production truck and also next to me in the commentary box, my name is Josh Mertz, live on the Automotive Sports Network. The NASA Rallycross Challenge is brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problems, our solution. For more information, visit osscenter.com. Thank you, Rob Hartland, for your continued support of NASA Sim Racing. Cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support. Finally, the intro music for the NASA World feed, produced by our very own Alex Sabetti. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and ring the bell to be notified of our live streams on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, along with our short-form video content courtesy of Jess Rakowski. And if you'd like your content broadcasted by the Automotive Sports Network, ASNTVUSA.com. If you'd like to race in NASA, we have something for everyone in 2024. All the info there is at nasasimracing.com. Going to take a look at some programming notes before we get rolling with some predictions and NASA Rallycross Futures and Lights tomorrow from Crandon and Wisconsin to begin the Endurance Cup. 8 p.m. Eastern for Futures, 9 p.m. for Lights. Ethan Halsey, Victor Valley for those two shows. That's going to be an absolute brawl in Wisconsin. NASA Rallycross Contenders on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Justin Robichaux, Bryan Sawyer for that. Torque Sports Car, Round 3 in Road Atlanta. That's going to be Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Victor Valley, myself, Josh Mertz for that. And our next round for the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge, also in Crandon. That's going to be next Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Bryan Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. So, Bryan Sawyer, I ask you, it's math problem time, but we're not going to have numbers, okay? There's a long list of people that have won at this track. Marwan Moftah, Jeff Appelgren, Philip Kraus, Magnus Okenhout, Sindre Silva, Connor Parisi, Matt Hartley, Francois Martel, Alex Sabetti, Evan MacFarlane. Will Kieran Liflander make it? Will Kieran Liflander make it 11 different winners here, or does MacFarlane become the first repeat?
I said no numbers. We're putting numbers. Yeah. I mean, still, look at all night. Evan has just been so much faster than Kieran. He's still a half second up. I mean, if nothing happens in the first corner, I think it's Kieran or Evan's race to win. I think what I actually think is going to happen during this race, nothing's going to happen on the first turn, but we're going to have Kieran take his first Joker immediately and try and slow down Evan. And Evan will have to respond, and they'll both be done with their Joker strategy very early, just so Evan can try and stay out front. I think we might get a little archy-barchiness in there, but I don't know. We'll see.
You're saying nothing's going to happen with our biggest feature grid size in like 2 years.
Oh, there's going to be a whole lot. There's going to be a whole lot happening in the back. I just don't know with the front.
So MacFarlane leads in warm-up by 0.4 of a second. Let's call it half a second from Liflander. Yoni Palineva in the 31 sits in third. Josh Darnell, Matthew Lindy rounding out the top 5 there. 8 Subarus, 2 Ford Fiestas. And it's going to be a good one. Looking at our math problem of 10 former winners here in Daytona, 6 of them are former series champions. So you've got half of the drivers that have won a race here, won a championship. You had Magnus Okenhout get close. Connor Parisi really should have won a championship here, but there were so many times that he didn't with various issues. And then you got a couple of guys, Marwan Moftah, Jeff Appelgren. On their day, they were super quick. So long story short is Evan's looking good. Kieran trying to add to that list, and there are 5 points between these two kids in the Drivers' Championship. As in the last minute or so of warm-up, a couple guys in the middle of the screen there by the start gantry, practicing starts, Bryan. Crucial in these supercars.
Yeah. I think I was making fun of you on Sunday for...
Yes, you were.
I'm doing practicing starts. I'm like, it's just a clutch dump. But you have to practice your starts in these. You can get so much wheel spin, and the track temperature changes throughout the night. So what was working at one point, you might have to adjust your start RPMs, your whole little strategy on how you're going to start the car. You burn out, you lose positions. The start is the most important part of the race.
First of all, you can make fun of me all you want for just doing a clutch jump and going. You got to think that it's still a process. You still kind of get into a mindset of dropping the clutch and going and dealing with the traffic. And I want to piggyback off of what you said about the weather change. It was kind of cool-ish during the heat race in the semifinal on Sunday, and then it got hot for the feature. And I'm a washed-up has-been who didn't recognize that it was that warm, and that's why we tumbled down the order. That was Sunday. This is now. Let's take a look at our grid for the 11th running of the Daytona Grand Prix. On pole position will be Evan MacFarlane, double defending driver's champion of the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Kieran Liflander, Robbie Kirtley joining him on the front row of the grid. Joni Pelineva in the 31, making his debut starting fourth. Marcos Palacio, Marcus Indrek, Simmer, Yuko Pakala, Zach Blanche, Josh Darnell, Matthew Lindy. Various manufacturers, various nationalities, and on a consistent basis, Kieran Liflander, Evan MacFarlane, waiting until the last possible moment to grid. It is all mind games. All mind games. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't see that graphic until just now. 10 cars, 10 laps, 2 jokers, the biggest supercar field in quite some time as we get ready to go green in Daytona Beach. We go green in Florida, off the line. What a jump for Kieran compared to Curley, compared to MacFarlane. Palineva looking to the inside. Blanche looking to the inside, 3 wide middle. Leading is Liflander, side by side, 3 wide with Blanche. Palacio, MacFarlane clears Curley. Palineva into Palacio, into Blanche. They slide, they save it. I thought they did. 2 cars off the jump. Blanche and Palineva come together into the tires in the back of the field. Liflander leads MacFarlane, leads Kirtley, Palacio, Pakala, Simmer. Good run for him. Darnell, Lindy, Blanche recovering as Palineva in the 31. Onto the oval for the first little bit. We've got Kieran Liflander out front. Evan MacFarlane, Robbie Kirtley, the top 3. Will Kieran still joker at the end of the first lap? We'll just have to wait and see. He does not. Evan does not. Kirtley does not. And at the end of the first lap, what does this do now, Bryan Sawyer?
We got Lindy bump drafting Simmer down the backstretch. They are pushing. They're pushing real hard. They're about to go side by side
into turn number 1. Simmer, they touch, and Lindy slides in car number 3. Side by side, Simmer and Blanche as they touch the Australian and the Estonian. The top 2 not letting either of them get away from each other. They are stuck together. We've got Liflander, MacFarlane, Kirtley in 3rd. We saw this in Crandon last season if those 2 kids come together. Palacio, Pakala, Darnell, Blanche, Simmer, Lindy, and Palineva. So, like I said, you said that Kieran was going to joker on the first lap and run away or try to. He got a great start and he's leading on the road.
Evan was going to be in front of him. I was not expecting Kieran and Robbie both to pip Evan right off the start.
Jokering is Lindy. Thought it was going to be contact. Carry on.
Yeah, I was not expecting both of them to pip Evan. That was not on my bingo card tonight. But looks like Evan, I didn't expect Evan to get it back that quickly either. He got it back over the jump, I think.
And I'll tell you what, if it were to end right now, we would have a tie going into the Endurance Cup next week in Crandon. That's going to be spicy. Still got half a race left over that. MacFarlane jokers at the end of lap 3. Does he get a midline violation? Oh,
I don't see one. He was lucky.
I didn't see black, but I got there. As MacFarlane leads by a car length over Liflander. You cannot cross that line by too much. Otherwise, the sim will give you an unsafe rejoin. MacFarlane leads over Liflander. Kirtley sits in 3rd, Rear-ride on board. The 20 of Kieran Liflander. Tied for winningest all-time in NASA Rallycross Lights, and he's only been driving in NASA for the last 2 seasons. Down to the Joker. Liflander responds. He'll go back to the lead, I think. Through the Joker, locked up the right front, got the car rotated. He completely avoids the line back to the lead. Kirtley jokers, Pakala, Palacio, Darnell, Lindy, Blanche slides it into the final corner behind the 3 of Lindy. Then it's Simmer and Palineva in the 31 in the back of the field. Just an update on fastest lap. It's Kieran Liflander, 40.039. MacFarlane, 40.191. They're half a second up on Kirtley, according to fastest lap times. Kirtley hanging strong in the 0.24, Bryan.
Yeah, Curtly's running his own race. It looks like he's just going to hit the podium if he keeps
MacFarlane
everything
jokers. MacFarlane back to the lead. Strategy done for the double defending champion. And now he's going to have to hold off Liflander as the track rubbers in. The amount of practice, like I said, impeccable to see these guys just effortlessly drive these cars at their maximum and then some, as we took cross flags that last time around. Halfway home in Daytona. MacFarlane looking good. Liflander's got a joker. He got a good bite off the corner.
Liflander's right there. If I'm Liflander, I'm just responding, doing it now. We know Curtly's only got one joker left, so
Liflander
Curtly's out of
does.
the picture for them. Yep.
In the 20. Curtly holding the third spot, exiting the joker. Liflander back to the lead, and now it is a second between the two championship rivals, and we've got 4 laps left. Can MacFarlane get it done? 0.7 of a second. The gap is ebbing and flowing. Simmer jokers in the back of the field. He comes out battling Blanche, and they touch again in turn 1. Over the curb, I thought, went Blanche. He did not. Here comes Lindy in the 3. We're not missing anything up front. This is a battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th, and I will tell you that every position matters in NASA Rallycross, and it has mattered in the past 12 years. Darnell to the inside of Pakala for the 4th spot. We're coming to 3 laps to go up front. The gap is only 0.3 of a second as we still focus on Pakala and Darnell.
Darnell's taking that joker.
MacFarlane was 0.7 up the last time around. Darnell moves up to 4th, exiting the joker. Up front, Bryan, up front! Battle for the lead! MacFarlane got to the rear wing of Liflander through the double apex right-hander. Liflander pulled MacFarlane back out onto the oval. We're coming to 2 laps to go. Liflander hits the wall! Has to overcorrect! MacFarlane to the inside! MacFarlane to the lead! Battle for the lead, coming to 2 laps to go in Daytona Beach. And the double defending champion MacFarlane leads.
I think that was Evan touching Kieran and pushing him into the wall. It looked like we were on cockpit view, but it looked like a push.
2 to go. We've seen contact in Sonoma this season, in Indianapolis this season. We saw contact in Atlanta last season between these two kids. And we got 2 laps to go. Just taking a look through the field. It is calmed down through the field. Simmer gets by Palineva for the 8th position. To the inside, Liflander goes! Uses him up, does Liflander on MacFarlane. Side by side, exiting the oval. And Liflander back to the lead.
I think that confirms it, Josh. I think the first one was a touch, and Kieran's like, no, you don't do that. I'll do it right back. I know they both know each other can take it.
Coming to the white flag. Does MacFarlane have anything in return for Kieran Liflander in car number 1 to car number 20 through the first couple of corners? Liflander was up by a second. Bad bounce in the 20. MacFarlane to the inside, gives him a nudge, uses him up, and the defending champion back to the lead. Liflander's going to have a good run into the final corner. Final hairpin here, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time. He gives him a nudge. Liflander back to the inside. Netcode moves MacFarlane out of the way, and now the final run to the final hairpin on the last lap. The gap is 0.4 of a second. Make it 5. Will it be a huge lunge for MacFarlane? Defending his Liflander. MacFarlane tries it, can't get it done. And it will be win number 7 for Kieran Liflander here in Daytona in NASA Rallycross. MacFarlane comes home in 2nd. 3rd is Curtly. 4th is Pakala. No! Palacio pips Pakala at the line for 4th. Simmer and Palineva slide, touch, and crossing the line is Darnell. He takes 6th spot as they both come together for 9th and 8th and 9th. In all of that, we lost Matthew Lindy. I'm trying to roll back and see. Let's get a confirmation on the classification. Let me take a breath because...
I don't even think the sim knows what happened.
Wow.
Just knows Kieran won. There we go.
12 years and 272 races. That's why I still do this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, because this is incredible to watch. Confirmation of the classification at the end of the Daytona Grand Prix. Kieran Liflander makes it 11 different winners of the Daytona Grand Prix. Evan MacFarlane 2nd, Robbie Curtly 3rd, Marcos Palacio, Yuko Pakala, Josh Darnell, Zach Blanche, Marcus Indrek Simmer, and Yoni Palineva as those two that I want to, before we have interviews, I want to take a second look at their contact because I'm trying not to bust out laughing as they are trying to find a way around the start gantry. and Matthew Lindy parked out on the last lap. Brian,
are we
we
looking
can
at?
find those two. Car number 4, Simmer. Car number 31, Polanova.
I think I got that.
As they both jokered, coming to the checkered flag. Let's take the graphic away. And Simmer ran it wide, Polanova to the inside. They come together, right? Here comes Darnell on the joker. So these two touch. Darnell says, oh, thank you. That's kind of cool. Or sorry, that's Blanche. And then here comes Darnell. And they're stuck at the line, and you're not across the line.
That happens.
Wow. And for add insult to injury, Yoni didn't get classified as 8th because he went around the start gantry, I think. He was given a penalty by the sim. So
yeah, you can't do that.
Wow.
We'll yell at you.
So we await interviews for a couple of guys. We're going to bring in. Are you ready? I guess I'll ask you the question. Are you ready internally?
I believe I'm ready. We'll find out.
We're going to bring in Robbie Kirtley. Hopefully we can hear you.
Hello.
Robbie, do you got us? I can hear you internally.
Nice.
Just trying to hear if I can hear you here. We can hear you. So it's no disrespect to Brian, but I have bad luck whether it works or not. So my first question is walk me through your race, because 10 cars for the first time in a feature in Supercars and since the split, really. And walk me through your race, but also, I guess, second question, kind of the same one. You kind of just ran your own race. I guess just go ahead and walk me through it.
Man, the start was awful. I usually can just floor it in second gear and get out there, but the track state was hot, it felt. So I was nervous, and then going more laps into it, it just felt hotter and hotter, like the tires were gone. But I had a feeling that there was a commotion behind me for the jump on the lap 1, so I managed just to hold on and do practice laps essentially and watch Evan and Kieran possibly mess each other up, but I don't even think I was in contention with them if I were to have a wreck in front of me, so I tried.
Did you have thoughts of, remember Crandon with your win last season, did you have a thought of those two? They came together a lot. I'm sure when you watch this back, you'll obviously see it. Did you have a thought of, maybe, hey, they come together and crash each other, I can sneak one away?
I thought it was my chance, and I was like, I'll save one joker, I'll stay out of their way, let them banter, and I hoped that maybe my last joker could have been in contention, but they kept it clean, so I'll take the P3.
As Brian, you got anything for our third place man? I know you might be busy with points, but I'm going to ask you anyways. And he sends me a text message, and he says he's busy. So, last question for you, my friend. Anyone you'd like to thank for another podium finish here today?
I'd like to thank my beautiful girlfriend and her only for this broadcast, since I'm heard today. So I appreciate her putting up with me, putting in some hours and practicing.
That's awesome. All right, my friend. Great run, and we will see you next week in Crandon. It's a different layout, but technically you are the defending race winner.
Let's go, baby. Y'all have a good day. Thank you very much, guys.
You too, buddy. Take care. As no Kieran just yet. So we'll bring in second place man, Evan MacFarlane. He is currently muted. He's unmuted now. I don't know what to actually ask you, because that 10 laps, when you go back and watch it, I was having a good time. So I guess I'm just going to tell you, walk me through your race, but I want to start with, you're now tied with the championship lead. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. I put a lot of practice in for this race. I think I put like 6 hours on track just driving, so which is my most this season. So I really wanted to win this race, and I really wanted to come out here and win. So I knew in qualifying I was faster than Kieran, and I knew I would be struggling when the track started heating up. So I made some adjustments to the setup, which didn't work at the start of the race, but then I started to find my feet and get some more pace and started catching up to Kieran. But yeah, I mean, qualifying was I just knew how to execute. I did that. Heat race, I just knew got to get a good start, pull a gap, and just play my joker strategy nice. And then I knew in the future that it was balls to the walls. So yeah, I gave it all in that feature. I'm a little bit disappointed because I honestly, I feel like Kieran just bowled into me in that hairpin twice. He made it. I don't know. He made a mistake. I got through him clear, and he just watching back the replay just looked like he just ran into me because he couldn't take his own mistake. But it is what it is. I gave it a my all. That last one, I didn't know you guys could probably tell, but I was a little bit mad, and I wanted to just try to send it and get under him. But yeah, no, it was a good race. I was fast all day, and I'm happy with my result, I guess. But I know I could have won, and it's unfortunate to see that happen. And it is what it is, though. I'm thankful for everyone who's supporting me, and yeah, it was a good race.
I really don't have any other questions for you because the pace that you showed, the battle that was had, this I say it every show. This series, this season, incredible. So I think Brian's gonna tell me that he's busy again. But Brian, do you have anything for our second place
Oh,
man?
I'm not busy. I'm here. We're good.
Do you have anything for Evan?
Those last 3 laps, or last 3 or 4 laps, were incredible to watch. I mean, I know that there was a little anger between both of you pushing back and forth like that, but in my eyes, that was just pure rallycross. That was beautiful. Nobody died. It was incredible to watch. Good job, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And last question: anyone you'd like to thank for another podium finish, my friend?
Yeah, I like to give all glory to God. It's because of him I'm this fast, and I'm thankful for everything he's done. I like to thank Team Watson Racing, KS Industries, Martin Sports, Marlin Sports, True Speed, Evan MacFarlane Photography. If you want some of my photos, check me out on Discord. I have a link in my bio. And yeah, just Fluid Logic, Pit Viper, all the guys back at the team. Matthew, he came back this race. He was struggling. He had to get a new wheel because it broke, but he still showed up, and I'm proud of him. Just all the guys back at Team Watson, Eric, Josh, Zach, Robbie Kirtley, and Robbie L'Oreal. Just all those guys, KES too. I mean, Dylan, Mario, Adam, just those guys for always helping me out. And yeah, I'd like to thank my family for being there, supporting me. And yeah, my dad unfortunately passed away recently, so I really wanted to get this win
Oh
for him.
no!
But yeah, it is what it is. I'm thankful for everything he has done, and I thank him for always supporting me. So he loved watching my races, so I'm extremely thankful for him.
I that just hit me. So I echo everything that you just said, and I'll say it publicly. If you need anything, you let me know. But I'm sure. Oh, I'm choking up now. I'm sure our dads are having a beer together, watching these races. And yeah, good run, my friend. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate all you guys have been doing, and I'm thankful for you guys putting on the show because he enjoyed watching me race. So thank you guys for everything.
Absolutely. Brian, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I can handle this one. You might have to do this.
Hey, Kieran. How you doing? It was a great race.
Yep.
So I got to mute intern quick. Walk me through what happened there. Mainly the last 4 laps, I would say. I couldn't tell from the angle. We were on board with you at the moment. It looked like Evan sneaked through the first time. Did he make contact that first time and just lead to the pushing back and forth? Because you guys were pretty respectful up until that point, and then all the gloves came off right then.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't really have any comment on that other than take a look at what happened at Sonoma. Lap 1 at the beginning of the season. I said it, and I always keep my promises. I'm not taking no stuff from anybody this season. It's all hands on deck here, and yeah, I told him I would repay the favor, and you guys got it here on the stream. So, but yeah, I was strategizing, just waiting for him to make the first move because I seem to always have better jumps than him. And I don't know what it is unless it's just my timing. Yeah, that's back-to-back seasons where I've got really good starts against him at Daytona, but just obviously last season we didn't bring it home. And yeah, I waited for him to make the first move, and then I went back on him about that. And then the second time he took the Joker, he was a couple tenths out ahead than the last time. And yeah, and then he wanted to make a move, so then I sent it in on him in the hairpin at the beginning of sector 2, and didn't do any damage to me or him. Just gave him a little nudge. I actually locked up both front tires, so wasn't meaning to make that much contact because I know it probably rattled his cage a bit. And then, yeah, the other two contacts for me, I looked at the replay, and I apologize for that much contact made to him on that second time where I did. He went to that turns 3 and 4, and he stuck his nose in there. And for me, I felt like my right rear got destroyed. And obviously, there was contact made. And then I didn't lock it up this time. I sent it in, and I moved him fairly hard, but not enough. Obviously, not going to spin him out for the win or anything like that. I want to be able to race it out, but yeah, no other comments on that.
I was gonna say it's. I mean, it's fun racing like that, especially when you know you're with somebody that you know is good enough to handle being pushed and you being pushed, and you know the limit of the car and what you can and cannot get away with. I got nothing. I don't know if Josh is back or not, but second.
All I want to say is it was all I'm going to say is it was a great race. Super fun to watch. And you guys are tied for the points lead, so get a red plate on that, and we'll see some chaos in Crandon. Good run, my friend.
Appreciate
Who
it.
we thinking tonight, Kieran?
Everybody, KLR, just as always, mom and dad been supporting. Mom's unfortunately asleep on the couch right now, so she wasn't able to attend the chat today. My dad's out and about, but I got a couple friends watching, and yeah, just everybody, KLR. Austin did a pretty good job. Just had terrible luck. Apparently, his cat disrupted him in the heat, which caused him to spin out, and then didn't have too much luck in the B main or C main, whichever one he was in. But yeah, all those people, and yeah, just ready to carry this momentum on to Crandon, where might be even more beating and banging with me and Evan, and hopefully we'll be able to come out on top.
All right. Well, thank you. Enjoy the win, and have a good night.
Appreciate it.
So let's take a look once again at the classification of the Daytona Grand Prix. Kieran Liflander on top ahead of Evan MacFarlane. We look at our stat book. Kieran Liflander is now tied for 13th all-time on the wins list with Josh Klog, former champion, Jakob Rafos, a fellow one of the fastest kids in the world, and Dylan Smith, one of the former fastest kids in the world. Back in 2012, one of the fastest I had raced at that point in time. So, MacFarlane, Kirtley, the rest of the podium, Palacio Pakala, Darnell, Blanche, Simmer, Palineva, and Lindy rounding out the top 10. I'm going to be honest, I left the server, so I do not have 11 through 16th, Bryan.
I do. We got Lars, Moncanet, Renee Sutton's names are not fully showing for me. We got Brandon Slough, William Findling, Austin Derbyshire, Jess Rakowski, and Zachary Goddard.
As Zach Goddard, last place points, 17th. He wasn't able to take part, but he did transfer from that contenders race. Let's take a look at points. Exiting Daytona, and like we've alluded to, there is a tie in the Drivers' Championship. It's not, there it is. Look at that. Kieran Liflander and Evan MacFarlane tied at the top. And technically, I think this is a true tie. I won't dive into all the stats. We can go second, thirds, whatever. But Evan and Kieran both have 3 wins. So it's a dead heat in the Drivers' Championship. Heading to Crandon, where they came together last season. Yuko Pakala, Marcos Palacio, that's a good battle brewing for 3rd. Josh Darnell, Zach Blanche, a good battle brewing for 5th. Robbie Kirtley, Rakowski, Sotens, and Heskinen, the top 10. The Constructors' Championship, exiting Daytona, and it'll be TWR Subi Squad on top still in that championship. Kieran Liflander Racing moves to 2nd. No Control, Finland, and then USA. Slapex 4, JC Simsport, TWR Fiesta Siesta, Kachow, KES, and Underfunded rounding out the top 10. It'll be Subaru, Ford, Volkswagen. Just a matter of the numeric values of this championship as we take a look at those. A couple of programming notes before we say, go ahead.
Before you get that, I got Kieran and Evans in season stats. Kieran missed a race, so but they've both won 3 races apiece. Evan has 1 more podium than Kieran and 1 more season feature. I think that's all just due to Evan missing, or Kieran missing the 1 race, and Evan's got 2 more heat wins than Kieran this season. Kieran with 4, Evan with 6.
Like I say every week, it's going to come down to a single point, like it has. Actually, after last week's race, I went back and I took a look as to the closest points battles in the history of NASA Rallycross. There are 2 that were 1 point. There was last season between Evan MacFarlane and Kieran Liflander, and there was back in 2012 C. It was myself and Dylan Livengood, the 3rd ever championship. Those are the only 2 that have come down to 1 point. But off the top of my head, I would say probably 20 of the 30 seasons have come down to less than maybe 10 or 15 points. And I say that seems like a bigger value, but the fluctuation of the point systems through the years, that's a super close points battle. To have that many championships go down to that many points, always super competitive in NASA Rallycross. Let's take a look at some programming notes before we say good evening. NASA Rallycross Futures and Lights tomorrow in Crandon. That's going to be a brawl. I'm so excited for that. 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, Futures and Lights. Ethan Halsey, Victor Valley for those 2 shows. Like I say, you guys have been killing it on Sundays for us on the Automotive Sports Network. NASA Rallycross Contenders, Bryan Sawyer, Justin Roba show for that call in Crandon, 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Torque Sports Car Series, Thursday, Road Atlanta, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Victor Valley, myself, Josh Mertz for that. And our next round for the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge, also in Crandon, 2 p.m. Eastern next Saturday. The NASA Rallycross Challenge is brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problems, our solution. For more information, visit osscenter.com. Thank you, Rob Hartland, for your continued support of NASA Sim Racing. Cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support. Finally, the intro music for the NASA World feed, produced by our very own Alex and Betty. And if you like what you saw tonight, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And ring the bell to be notified of our live streams on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, along with our short-form video content courtesy of Jess Rakowski. If you'd like your content broadcasted, asnTVUSA.com. And if you'd like to race in NASA, we have something for everyone in 2024 at NASASimRacing.com. Bryan Sawyer, give me a final thought.
That was about all I could have hoped for in a feature race. That's all I got. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained. I had no horse in the race, so it was a good show.
It was super fun. Like I say every week, we're watching some of the best in Rallycross on iRacing do what they do and have some of the best action that I have seen. Not to get a little emotional by the end of this show, I just want to say to everyone, hug your loved ones. You'll never know when the last day is, because I had no idea that had happened. To Evan MacFarlane, and just stay positive with everything that you do. As the checkered flag has fallen on the afternoon, from all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, from Jess Rakowski, Victor Valley, Justin Robichaux, Cody Erdman, Ethan Halsey, and Bryan Sawyer, my name is Josh Mertz, as we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge from Daytona. We congratulate our winner, Kieran Liflander, and be sure to join us next week in Crandon. But until then, so long, everyone.